actually filmed this yesterday on Monday the 27th, but none of my audio recorded. So we're doing it again today, and that's fine. The lighting was a lot better yesterday, and that's also fine. Anyways, here we go. Take two. I have a plan, or at least the beginning of a plan, since all two of my races for the year are done, and I don't have anything on my calendar for the foreseeable future. Normally what I would do, even after not running for a really long period of time and I want to get better at running, is to jump back into running, which is really dumb. It's what I always do. It never turns out well, but I do it every single time anyway. I always jump back into it with a half-baked plan, and even going into it, I know it's not going to turn out well, and I'm like,
but this time it'll be different.
And it never is. And I know it's not going to be different. So why do I keep doing it? I don't know. But this time it will be different because I'm not doing that. So while I would really like to just jump back into running, I know I need to get stronger. Even while I was at my 11-hour endurance event like a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking, I really need to get stronger. I have no fitness. I'm starting from zero. I need to get stronger. I know it would be smarter for me to build up my strength first, so that's where I'm going to be starting over the fall and over the winter. At least for me, it can be really overwhelming trying to choose a strength program to follow, just because there are so many options out there. Especially in the past 2 years specifically, I've been mostly following Caroline Girvan's Iron program on YouTube, but I actually haven't finished it all the way through. I think I've gotten at most like 10 days in, and I believe it's a 30-day program. I've really enjoyed it. I've never seen it through all the way to the end, and that's something else I want to change. So I went to Reddit, I looked on a couple of forums to try to find a more beginner-friendly program that was a little more recommended, I guess, on there, that was something different, and just to kind of change it up a little bit. I ended up choosing Sydney Cummings' Summertime Fine 3.0 program, and that was her 2021 program. It's 12 weeks long, and it builds in 30-day cycles. A lot of folks recommended it as a good beginner program, so I will be starting that one in December. But first, let's back up to November, because originally, I was going to start this one in November, but to be completely truthful, I've been super lazy since my 11-hour event. I've gone on a couple of walks here and there. Overall, after the 11-hour, I just kind of sat on my butt in front of my computer, which is where I spend a majority of my time anyway. The other day, after I decided to do the Sydney Cummings program, I was like, we have like 4 or 5 days. This was when I decided to do the program, and I was like, maybe jumping into a 30-day program, well, technically a 90-day program right off the bat in like 5 days is a really bad idea. That sounds like a great way to burn out really fast. Maybe we push that program back a month and we ease into it a little bit more. For November, what I'm gonna do is 4 times a week, I'm gonna go on a walk for at least 30 minutes each time. I'd also like to do at least one strength workout each week, but I'm just gonna count that as like a bonus workout. If I can get to it, great. If not, I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. Normally what I do is I get an idea in my brain and I just full speed ahead, just pedal to the floor, and then I burn out and I don't complete the training cycle, and then I beat myself up. And I go,
why didn't you complete the training cycle?
And I go, because we went balls to the wall and we didn't ease into it, and we didn't stop to think that we go from 0 to 100, maybe we might burn out. That's why, Kristen. It happens every time. Why are you still surprised? One thing I was thinking about though, while I was making all these plans and like writing down notes, is I can make all the plans that I want, but if I don't stick to the plan, it doesn't do me any good, because I'm a person who is so good at planning so far out into the future. I'm someone who can plan things years in advance. Do those things ever happen? Not very often. Execution on the plans that I make is where I fail 99.9% of the time. Sometimes I'll actually get started on whatever the plan is. In this particular case, it'll be talking about training. I will start with the training, and sometimes I'll even see it most of the way through. Something will happen, and by something, I mean I start making excuses and then I just stop. And it always happens. Execution is my biggest hurdle. And I don't really know why. I'm really good at making excuses. I can just stop for one day. It can just be one day of me waking up and going, I stayed up too late. It looks like it might rain. It might be bad weather. I'm not feeling too great. Whatever the excuse is, if you need an excuse for anything, hit me up, let me know. I can make it happen. Any excuse, and then I'll skip that workout and I'll just do it tomorrow. But then tomorrow, oh, well, I can't do it today because another excuse. And it snowballs, and then it doesn't happen the next day and the next and the next. And then 6 months down the line, I haven't done any of my training. And then I'm mad at myself again. It's a never-ending cycle every single time. I know part of my problem is when I have an event that's really far into the future, even for me, into the future is like 3 months. I think it can be understandable when you're training for something and it's 1 year plus out, like if it's 1 year or 2 years out, if you're training for something like a really big event, like a 100 miler or a 250 or something, and you're starting from couch to ultra, unplanned couch to ultra. If you're training for a really big event and you're starting from either couch or bare minimum or from a lower mileage and you're having to work your way up, and so you're having to have a longer training block, you're going to have a longer training period and you're like, man, it's a year away. That's a long time. But even for me, something like 3 to 6 months out, this happens in every aspect of my life. If whatever thing is not directly in front of my face, it's just gone. If it's not in front of me, I'm not thinking about it. And that's another problem. So if you have any ways to combat that, whether that's like breaking that big goal into smaller goals to keep that at the forefront of your mind, like more directly in front of your face, so you're constantly thinking about it, whether that's, a month out or like every single week. So that way you're thinking about it a little more often. Please let me know. That's a good idea though, because even 3 months out, which for some people is like, 3 months is not that long of a time. A 3-month training block is such a short training block. Like, how are you losing sight of your goal at only 3 months? It's real easy, okay? Let me tell you, very easy for me to do. If the goal is not directly in front of me, it's so hard for me to focus on, and it's so easy for me to make excuses as to why I can skip this training day, or it doesn't matter. I still have, I'm going to be training 2 weeks from now, so who cares? Like, oh, well, the race isn't until next year. I'll be fine if I skip today or this week or next week or whatever. And that's not the mindset that I want to have. But even now, I'm talking about my plan for December, January, and February, which is me focusing on strength programming. We haven't even passed November yet. Technically, I'm thinking in the future. So we need to bring it back. I need to dial it back a little bit. The beginnings of my plan: 4 times a week in November, a walk, 30 minutes each walk. I can do that. If I can sneak in at least 1 strength workout a week, great. But I'm not going to panic and beat myself up if a week goes by and I didn't get one in, or if instead I do like a yoga routine or a stretching workout, that's also acceptable. I'm not going to be mad about it. That is the beginnings of my plan, because working on just getting more movement in and getting my body prepared to be more active on a daily basis, that'll help prepare me for the strength program. And then the strength programming will help me in my running as well. If I'm stronger overall, I can be a stronger runner. And then if I'm a stronger runner, I can do all the things that I want to do. But thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. And again, when you have goals that are in the very far future, let me know what tricks and things that you use to keep them more in the forefront of your mind, so that you don't go, oh, well, that race is over a year away. It's totally fine for me to start skipping my training. Let me know what you use to kind of keep that goal at the front of your mind, so you can stay focused and not start getting distracted, and that way you don't deviate from your training. Because mental fortitude is something that I absolutely want to work on, but also need to work on. And that's also something that I'm going to be making a video on for myself at a later date. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great run. Bye.